Now that it's October, like all the spooky shit starts popping up on my YouTube feed.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, so now it's all the like the 411 missing stuff is starting to come on there, and it's just like, it's so crazy to me, dude, how just a person, not even just in the woods, but just in general, how a person just ups and just disappears and just vanishes without a trace. Like there's so many fucking cases of people who are just gone, just disappear.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like I think we've gone over some of them here before with like that one chick that was like talking crazy. It was just like hearing voices in her fucking house.
I think she was drugged out though.
You think so?
Drugged out, yeah. Because if you look at that one, like there's all kinds of things that point towards drug abuse. Towards suicidal tendencies, how you guys had that she had an abusive boyfriend, a boyfriend that was on drugs, or an ex-boyfriend, or something like that. There's just
she had just lost her job or something like that.
Yeah, there's just so many arrows that point towards mental illness that I think that contributed into what happened to her. Not so much as like foul play was involved, but I think that that one is a little more like. I think solvable.
There's like there's some that's true.
I don't know because I don't know since then I don't know if they.
Well, they found her body. I remember they found it like a few days later, but they were like, what?
They couldn't know.
I think it was like a year later that they found her body. I gotta go back. I gotta go back to it.
I thought it was, but they found her like downstream from a river. It
was like a creek.
Something like that. Yeah, and then they couldn't. I think she just probably was drugged out, fell.
Yeah, that one was
by
weird.
the time that.
We gotta go over a few more of those. Those were dope. But yeah, a bunch of those stuff keeps popping up on my feed now. Now that it's October, I think. But maybe it's me. Maybe I just I watch one of those videos and then just all of a sudden they start popping up, right? Because that's how the algorithm works. You watch one video of one channel and
I'm surprised that people don't figure it out. Like there's some people that just I'm gonna be on fucking YouTube and look, they just show me all the stuff that I like. It's fucking crazy. Like obviously
like it's magic.
Like it's magic. Yeah, you're monitorized, you know, and people sell your information online and stuff like that.
Well, the whole shit of which is kind of fucking weird. It's like when you're talking about like a certain product, you're like, oh, I'm thinking about buying this, and then the ad pops up on your fucking phone. That shit fucking sucks, right? Because then damn well that fucking phone is listening to you, right?
And it could be very brief, just how you said, like, oh, well, I need new shoes, and it's like, okay,
fucking Nike ad.
You Google Nike shoes, and you're all Nike, whatever. Then blah 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 blah. You don't find anything. Right. You come back like 2 hours later, and you're on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, whatever platform you want to use, right? And then you're scrolling, and then what is there an ad of? Fucking Nike shoes. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
And I'm pretty sure there's people out there that realize it, but sometimes you're just like so caught up into that space that you're just like, okay, let me look into it.
Right. Like what's popping up right now?
It's a Matrix, dude.
Right. Matrix. 100%. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the Matrix. Yeah. Like let's be real, we're all connected to the Matrix, which is like why I guess they banned Andrew Tate, right?
Damn, dude,
that fucking guy,
Top G, dude. Top G. I mean, the dude's badass.
What do you think about it? What do you think about them banning him? I know it happened already a couple months ago. But.
Yeah, but I think it's I think it kind of opens a door that people were able to go into and kind of look at it, you know, in a better perspective. That this guy wasn't even. Maybe he said a few misogynistic things.
Misogynistic things.
Whatever that fucking word is.
That's not even in our vocabulary.
Yeah, misogynistic.
There you go.
But, you know, and he just had a very unique, not even a unique outlook on life. I think he just had a very simplistic way of looking at things and worded it so right that so many men were just like, yeah, dude.
It connected with them.
It connects with a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know, and it connected with me. And I just thought that, you know, and you hear from like girls that used to date him and stuff like that. Like this guy was a complete gentleman. You know, he treated me with respect.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
never
like
said anything out of
those
line.
videos or whatever of him like beating on the girl, it was like consensual.
Yeah,
right?
consensual.
Like they were just being super freaky.
Just being freaks. You know, like who doesn't fucking, you know,
right.
But
because we did a.
I think it's scary, bro. I think that's scary, especially for young men that they don't have, you know, like, oh, it's okay for, for them to push this this
This
LGBTQ
stuff and
agenda onto you,
Right.
and they're feeding it into the schooling system and stuff like
Big
that.
time.
Like,
Big
I don't,
time.
I just don't know where people start to draw the line.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude was just coming up on it and just hitting all the right drums and was like, yeah, men are going to be men,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like crazy shit that he used to say,
He
like
used to say
men are
wild
better
shit.
drivers than women and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And he would say a lot of crazy shit that I didn't particularly agree with, but there's,
But I think with
yeah.
I think with him, like he would throw. The thing is like he would throw everything and anything at the wall, and he would just see what sticks and what gains traction and what. Because like if you actually look at it, like he's got so much fucking content that's out there. There's like hours worth of fucking content that he would just keep putting it out. He would just say anything that he thought was funny that would pop into his head. He would just say it. Yeah. Right, so like, there's a bunch of stuff that he even disagrees with. Like, he'll go back. He's like, oh, "I just said that shit because it's as funny as the internet." Right?
Yeah. See, at first, I feel like that's what his first agenda was. Like, I'm gonna just go in there and just fucking break the internet,
just hustle. He's just gonna hustle
and get these views, get this money, whatever it needs to, But then I think along his journey, there was things that started to come at him that were like, well, okay, maybe I do have a bigger influence on people.
On certain men. Yeah.
Because I feel like with the pushback that he was getting, he was kind of like, whoa, well, people kind of take this internet shit seriously sometimes, sometimes when you say certain things that trigger certain people.
Because that's what the internet used to be. Like, I remember like being in like the early, the early 2010s. Yeah. Which is like YouTube was just full of crap. Like, it was just
shitty stuff. Like, do you remember the Tourette's guy?
Yeah, you just go out and just start screaming shit.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what YouTube was. That's what I watched on YouTube.
That was what you would watch. Dumb shit,
wild shit. Like, if I wanted to watch something, like, because I would you would get TV, you would get school, you would get books to like teach you stuff, but you just get on YouTube to turn your brain off.
Yeah, and just to watch some dumb shit,
crap.
And that's how far away that we are from that world.
It's completely
like
different.
How you said
now.
You went to go to YouTube to turn your fucking brain off and just like. Well, you're going to watch the Tourette's guy, or you're going to watch cats do some stupid shit, or, and then now it's like people are using that as a platform for political views. And
I think the main thing right now is everything has gotten political.
It's just everything. Sure. There's not a single thing that you can say out there that people that
won't
aren't going to piss somebody off.
View.
Some motherfucker living in the mountains somewhere is going to start something with you because
the
the
Jeffrey Dahmer shit on Netflix, where like the LGBTQ is pissed off about the show because Netflix labeled it as LGBTQ friendly. Like, this is not
these fucking people are crazy. See, you want to be like them?
They're like, this is not the view that we wanted representing us.
Well, I mean, come on, he was homosexual. He was doing things with men
and boys.
With men and boys, and I mean, there's just how there's a side of people that are heterosexual, like especially with men.
There's that same side.
There's that same side.
Whatever sexuality, whatever race.
Sexuality, it doesn't fucking matter what you are. You could still be a psychopathic killer. You know, and I mean,
the most prolific serial killer. His name, it's like Pablo something, but he is a serial killer in South America, who they estimate his total being up to 300 and plus.
Damn.
And they had locked him up because he had admitted to all this, right? They caught him in the act. This was in like the 90s. He had admitted to everything. They caught him in the act. They locked him up. They let him go. He killed again, and now he's out there. He's somewhere free. Like, nobody knows where he's at. Yeah. I forgot his name. I got to go through it. I got to look it up. But it's like Pablo something. Most prolific serial killer probably in the world. Was a Hispanic guy from, I think he was from Ecuador, either Ecuador or Colombia.
Somewhere down there.
Right, somewhere in South America. Mm-hmm. And he killed, they estimate that he killed 300 plus. And it could be more. It could be a lot more. Mm-hmm. Because in Central America, dude, South America, you can get away with fucking anything, dude.
Yeah.
In Mexico, dude, like there's the cartels, how many fucking people they're fucking killing?
There's another guy too that was from here in the Central Valley. I think down there, forgot where he was from, but his name is called El Mano Negro, or El Negro Mano, or some shit like that. Somewhere in the south part of the valley, Bakersfield.
Oh, okay.
Avenal,
right,
Riverdale, and stuff like that. But
fucking fields.
So straight fields, But he grew up in Bakersfield. He was born in Bakersfield, and then his parents moved to somewhere in Mexico till he was 11. Came back, moved somewhere in the Central Valley. His mom, that was with his dad at the time, were separated. So either his dad was deported, or his dad went to jail, or his dad left his mom. Something happened where his mom started dating this drug dealer, and this drug dealer was slanging like big stuff, like up and down the Central Valley of, meth, cocaine, weed. At the time, weed was still illegal and stuff like that. And I guess his dad was working with the cartels. Like his dad was a cartel member. And I guess his situation at home got pretty bad to where his brother had ended up leaving for the army. His older brother, which was a role model in him, left, joined the Marines. And then he tried to follow in his big brother's footsteps and tried to join the Marines, but they didn't want to take him because he didn't pass. Because he wasn't smart enough. His IQ wasn't high enough. And so came back, and his situation at home had gotten even worse because his drug dealer stepdad was abusing his mom. So his stepdad was abusing drugs, but he had a lot of money. So that's how he kind of kept him around.
Right.
By the time this kid ended up being 16, he was now slinging dope for his stepdad. And I guess from then on, he became a hitman for the mafia, or for not the mafia, but the cartel.
Oh, okay.
And I guess his first hit job happened in Florida. They flew him out to Florida, and they were like, "Hey, this guy had bought like 10 kilos worth of cocaine from us in California, fled to Mexico, or fled to Florida, and is now trying to hide out. But now we know where he's at. Go over there and kill him.
Go get him. Yeah.
Either get me, I think it was like $30,000, something like that, where whatever 10 kilos is worth, somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
Go give me $30,000, or go give me his life." He flew out here, or he flew out to Florida, found the guy, surveilled him for 3 days, and he ended up going up to him and was like, "Hey, I have a house out here. I heard you're into construction. I need some work done on my house. Can you come by my house? And I need an estimate." And I don't know exactly the specific of what the work was. He's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll go out there." So this guy that owed the cartel 10 kilos of cocaine or $30,000, they meet up there and stuff like that. And he locks the door behind them when they walk in. And he goes, "All right, motherfucker, you owe me $30,000 or 10 kilos of cocaine." And he walked in with like his brother or his cousin or somebody else like that. Yeah, shot them both.
Fuck.
Yeah, he was like, you got 30 minutes to get me 10 kilos or $30,000 because you stole cocaine from me.
And didn't do it.
Didn't do it. And from then on, he just started killing people up and down the valley.
So he became a hitman.
A hitman
for the cartel.
Yeah, and supposedly he killed more than like 90 people, but he only confessed to 11.
Shit. The cartel's fucking ruthless.
Yeah, ruthless.
Dude.
And that's it. He was saying that there's more people out there that are working for the cartel here in the United States and in California alone. He said he's known three guys that are working for the cartel here in California, in our neck of the woods, that are doing the same thing, haven't been caught.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That they just find sometimes you find these field workers and these Mexicans
right
in the orchards, in the where we grow oranges and stuff like that. And a lot of law enforcement just think like, "Oh, okay, this guy just got into a scuffle with somebody, died, was shot, moved his body here, and us being a minority here, you know, usually they're people with no papers.
Yeah.
Not a big, the community is not going to go into uproar if this field worker or whoever it is that bought a couple of kilos of cocaine and didn't and owes somebody money, nobody's going to go in a big uproar about it. But he says that there's a couple of hitmen out here in California
in the Central Valley in the middle of California
that operate like that with the cartel.
And that's the thing, dude. I think that's what a lot of people really don't know. It's just like the Central California is huge. It's fucking huge. It's big, right? It stretches all the way from LA to San Francisco, inside of the coast, right? Whatever it's in between, and it's just there's so many people, and it's like you said, it's a lot of migrant workers, a lot of Hispanics. There's so many murders and killings that go on in the Central Valley that nobody ever hears about
because
right.
Yeah. And I think it has to do with a lot of the law enforcement here is underfunded, especially out here in California. Not the Central Valley. I feel like it's a different beast than what LA is or what.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what one of the main things I advocate is just like the Central Valley. It's just life is so much different from LA and San Francisco, but the laws that get passed in LA and San Francisco is what affects us here. Yeah. It's almost like the Central Valley needs to be its own state,
but not
it's
only
primarily Republican in the middle of the country, in the middle of the state,
and I feel like it's so Republican here, but then you go to these big cities. So progressive,
and it's so democratic,
and so progressive that you go to fucking San Francisco, bro, and you see a cop car out there, and you're like, God damn, that fool needs a new fucking ride, man.
Right?
Like, they're faded paint, and there's no cage in the back and stuff like that. The windows are all
flick your blunt at him, suck my dick,
and then tell him to fuck off, and they're so underfunded, and that shit feeds back to our community, Right. That to where even if those big LAPD, San Francisco PD, all are in the Bay Area, and all these cops are so underfunded, what the fuck do you think the smaller towns are? So you think they're going to be more funded and even more equipped to find these crazy murderers and killers that are out here? No.
Right, yeah.
Like right now, there's a serial killer out in Stockton. I don't know if you know about that.
No.
Yeah, there's a serial killer out in Stockton.
What the hell? What's going on there?
So supposedly there's a guy that's going around from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. shooting random people that are walking by themselves. Yeah,
just in the street, just pulling up in a car and just shooting them.
Shooting you, boom.
Did they have a description of the car?
No,
nothing.
Because it's from early in the morning that there's not a lot of people out. So if you're out there by yourself, they don't know yet.
And there's nothing in Stockton too, right?
What do you mean by nothing in Stockton?
Technology. Let's say technology wise, it's not like they have street cameras on every fucking corner and shit that.
I'm pretty sure in certain parts, there is. But the way that the chief commissioner over there had worded it, he said that it's happening in these early morning hours from people that are going to work or going home from work.
Oh shit.
He said to just keep your head on a swivel because we don't know if it's a person or a group of people that are doing this. But something... So it happened in August. The first one happened in August.
Of this year.
Okay. Then September. And then October. September. But something happened towards the end of September that there was a big influx of murders that happened that were in close proximity that had a lot to do in common. I don't know if it had to do with the same caliber bullet that they just were able
There's something in common that can connect.
that can connect one person or a group of people from doing.
So it's it's so much that they think it's a group.
They think it might be a group or it might be a person, but they're not ruling out a person because they don't want to throw out serial killer. Because if they throw out serial killer, then everybody's going to start to panic and be like, okay. Now that also puts a limelight on your community, but not only that, but your law enforcement agency in that community
puts them under pressure.
Yeah, to catch whoever is doing this. Right. Yeah, and man, just recently, the first one happened in August, beginning of August, and then a few strings from then. But then a few strings happened so close in a short amount of time that law enforcement was like, okay, we need to put out.
It's a matter of days.
Yeah, we need to put out what is it called?
Tell the public.
Okay, this is a public announcement. Yeah. And it might have been. I think so far. I think it's 5 or 6 people.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that it's happened to.
What the fuck?
And Yeah, man, it's crazy, and that's
insane.
that and I feel like that's kind of like the world we live in now. Is you just they don't want to throw out the word serial killer because you're watching this stuff on TV, like with Jeffrey Dahmer and stuff like that.
Right.
That if you were to throw the word serial killer out there in a big city or anywhere, man, that's I don't know. That's just it's just crazy.
Yeah,
now we
we
idolize those.
We kind of
people.
romanticize the ideal of like a serial killer because like they draw so much attention, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just because if you think about it, how many like what do you think the percentages of unsolved murders are, right? Like it's got to be like super high.
Fuck.
Like more than 50% of murders,
somehow,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like
because you got to think these people that are solving these cases are people too. You know,
they make mistakes. They make mistakes.
They're mistakes, but also at the same time, like you don't want this thing on your mind 24/7.
You still got to go
you
home.
You still got to go home. You still got to have your
guy.
life.
You have your wife, or you have your husband. You have your kids.
And yeah, it's unfortunate that, and that's what it gets me back onto the the underfunding of police agencies that are out here. And everybody's like, fuck the police, defund the police. Until there's a string of murders that are going on, and then you're asking why the police aren't solving it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and especially in that Stockton area, there's I've been up there probably about 8-9 times in Stockton, and it's a rough area.
It's a rough area.
It's a rough area. There's some areas where it's like, okay, yeah, it's nice, I'm not going to, fully bash on Stockton, but also Stockton, you got to be a tough individual to live there.
Right.
I'm telling you, I've been there like a couple times. I've already seen like 2 street fights. Yeah. So imagine that, and in traffic too. In traffic, like people getting off and start fist fighting right there.
I've been up there to play a few times to play football, and both times were just like rough. The players were rough.
Rough around the edges. You're talking about 16-year-olds with tattoos, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, like it's just it kind of does suck, especially in a state like California because it's such a massive state. There's so many people, and there's a lot of people there's a large percentage of the population who are concentrated in like the Southern California and in the Bay, but they pass laws that are so progressive and they affect people like us here, like normal folk who are just trying to work. Our day-to-day job.
That are so progressive that we have kind of conservative beliefs.
Right.
A lot of the leaders of our communities, because we're farmers. We're from farmland. Like even Fresno, as big as it is, it's surrounded by farmland. You go east, north, south, and west of Fresno.
It's all farmland. It's all farmland.
It's all fucking farmland.
The entire Central Valley is all farmland.
It's all blue. It's all blue collar workers, guys that are going to work, driving truck, construction,
right,
or your field fucking working,
right,
or you're doing something in between that helps that move along, But that's the structure of our society, at least around here.
Here
in
the
Central Valley.
Right. It's very Midwest-esque.
Yeah.
Right?
So when you have those beliefs happening in these big cities in our state that trickle down into the small communities in our state,
and it affects a city like Stockton,
and it affects the cities like Stockton,
serial killer
it affects the
around.
Cities like Madera, it affects the cities like of all these cities, and but I think that we need to give law enforcement a lot more credit than recently.
Oh, for sure. And the Central Valley's tough. Fresno's tough. I mean, there's just random crime that happens here all the time. And
very small sprouts of crime around, but it's a fucking awesome place to live.
Oh yeah.
Awesome
I mean, the thing is there's awesome people. I think that's the main thing. It's just like there's just awesome people here. It's just in general.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to do, but it's just people here mean well. There's nice people here. It's just, and it's just, it blows my mind too. It's just the fucking cartel hitman.
Yeah, man. That dude was crazy, man.
No,
if you look up I forgot what his name was. Let me look up
yeah, go ahead.
Just so you guys can, just so.
We have an idea of what we're talking about. Yeah. Making up stories on the fly.
So his name is Jose Manuel Martinez.
Jose
El
Manuel
Mano Negra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of interviews that you can see on YouTube and stuff like that from him. And obviously, he's not in a spotlight like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. You're not going to see a Netflix a documentary on him just because of the kind of individual that he is. Not all intelligent, but also he wasn't all the way in. He's not
just a complete
he's just
complete nuthead or something like. Yeah,
he was a grandfather when he was caught. He had grandkids. He had kids. And he was just a normal dad that was able to operate like this.
He wasn't like a nutcase.
He wasn't a nutcase that was like chopping people up and fucking like Jeffrey Dahmer and like I need to have them around me and stuff like that. But he was just. I think what makes him so interesting was he was able to live that kind of a lifestyle, kill, and then still go home and still operate and be a granddad, dude.
Right.
He was a granddad, and he had a grandson or a granddaughter. He would take them to Toys R Us and tell them, "Hey, for 1 hour, you can pick out whatever you want, and I'm going to buy it for you." Just because of the money that he was getting.
Right.
He would charge like fucking $10,000 a head. Yeah. He's like, if you want me to kill you, with the case in Florida, he was just like, you're not my boss. The guy that was telling him to go.
Yeah.
But he was a high-ranking member in the cartel. You're not my boss, but if you want me to do this, it's $10,000 per head. Because there was two of them now. It wasn't just one, it's two. Yeah. Because if I kill this guy, I'm not going to let this other guy go.
Right.
And he was just like, okay, yeah, do it. And then from then on, it's just a string of murder. There's another one, too, where he's living at home. And this is his last murder. And he's living at home. I think he has, I don't know if it was his wife's brother or his wife's new man. It was something like that. But something that conflicted with his manhood at home. Man, he would come around the house to his house and he would park in his driveway. And he took that as a disrespect. And he told him once, like, hey, stop parking in my driveway. And he goes, you don't tell me what to do. Only my mom tells me what to do. Yeah. And so he goes, okay, that's fine. And so a few days go by, and he says it's like 6 or 7 in the morning. He comes by, he parks his car in the fucking driveway again. And he goes, hey, so-and-so, whatever his name was, you want to go to the store? I got to pick some stuff up. He goes, okay, yeah, I'll go to the store with you. He goes, hey, let me drive your truck. I like your truck. He goes, okay, you can drive it. And then he's driving along the roads, and here in California, you drive a few minutes in a certain direction, you're in fields already.
Right, yeah.
In Central California, anyways.
Yeah.
And so he's driving down the road, and he gets to these orchards that are also adjacent to orange trees. So a bunch of rows of orange trees. So if you know orange trees, they're thick. You can't really see behind them.
They're big, yeah.
They're big orange trees. And so he pulls off to the side of the road, and he looks at him and he says, I thought I told you to stop parking in my driveway. And he goes, what are you talking about? Pulls out a gun and just shoots him in the head in the truck. Yeah. And then he takes his body and he buries him in the orange by an orange tree. I mean, he gets done burying him and he goes, now I tell you what to do. Yeah. And so he gets in his truck.
And he takes off. Be laughing, but
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Me went from his mom telling him, like, and fast forward like a few weeks, they can't find his body.
Yeah, of course.
They can't find his body. Right. And this guy, he operated at a different way from different serial killers. Because Jeffrey Dahmer, you don't think he's seen his victims' mothers and his victims' families on the news,
right?
Asking where their family members were, just for closure,
right?
Or just please return my family member, even if it's just a body. Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't like, okay, like, who cares? They're mine now,
right?
They're mine. This guy, seeing his mom, the mom that he was talking about, like she's the only one that tells me to do, on the news, and he felt so bad that he was just like, man, it's been 3 weeks and they can't find his body. And the mom was just asking for the body of her son. And so he goes out and he digs the body up and he moves it closer to the road so that they can find him. And then like a few days later, they find him.
Shit, dude. So he had empathy.
Yeah, he had empathy.
He had empathy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I've never heard about this guy.
No, you need to look him up, man. You need to look him up.
We got to do a video on him specifically.
And there's a significant moment early on in his life that has to do with a close family member of his that is, you can clearly see it change the direction of his life and where it was headed.
Right.
Because it was he wasn't like born a killer, like he was abusing animals or anything like that.
Right. He wasn't a sociopath.
He wasn't a sociopath. He just grew up in a rough
environment.
A rough environment. Field workers, you know. His dad was, you know, a druggie or whatever he was that he wasn't able to be around there for a whole lot. His mom was abused by his stepfather. But a lot of, I feel like a lot of this would be able to relate to viewers or for people that are around from the Central Valley or that are just born here and just know how sometimes life could be rough.
Right. Because
your dad's, you know, not making six figures. You know, you're sometimes your dad's not around all the time. He's at work. So I feel like that's what people can kind of relate to a little bit more, a little more closely than people that are from anywhere else.
Right.
And it's something that you can speak on too.
Yeah. Because growing up in the Central Valley can be tough. I mean, it's also too, I mean, the way you interpret, you know, your environment too has a lot to do, which, I mean, I'm not condoning anything that he did. Like, I'm not saying like, hey, what he did
was fucking crazy.
The guy was insane, right? Like crazy. He's killing a dude over parking in his driveway, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, we romanticize as a society. We romanticize this idea of like a serial killer. Like bitches love Ted Bundy, right? Like there's just like there was like even after he got caught, there was chicks fucking sending him fucking love letters and shit like that. Like what was it the Richard Ramirez guy too, or
where even then they were still idolizing these guys, you know, like but I feel like just the way this guy operated was just, you don't hear about him, so you don't know about him. So what makes him so interesting, you know? Or what makes him so uninteresting for us to not even be
what makes it to like a person who seems to have like a level way of thinking, right? Because we talked about, because he felt bad about the guy's mom not having any closure, so he has empathy, right? One of the main telltale signs of a sociopath is where they don't show any empathy, right? When they just don't give a fuck, right? And this guy, he was like, oh shit, I feel bad, right? What makes it to where like a somewhat of a level-headed mind turns into being a fucking serial killer for the cartel, and then just a hired hitman for the cartel, and just has no problem with taking life.
Right. And then not only that, but even being able to go back into the normal and to be somewhat normal,
and then live his life
as a father, as a husband, as a grandfather,
right?
To a certain point, you know, and they didn't find him until he was already in his 50s. And he said that he killed like 90 people, and he only told the authorities of 11 that he had committed.
That he had actually admitted to.
And he was, even though he wasn't smart enough to be in the Marines, he's still smart enough to be able to tell himself or to tell authorities that I've committed 90 murders.
Right.
Maybe not directly, but indirectly, I have something to do with 90 murders, 90 killings. And he said, I'm only going to tell you, he's only told him about 11. And the only reason why he told him about 11 is because he wanted them to keep him around to tell him about the rest of them. Yeah. He says, what is the point of me telling everything that I know if they're just going to kill me, or I'm going to die in here, you know, or whatever it is. You know how the CDCR, the California Correctional Facility is.
Yeah.
It's rough.
So,
like
big time.
With people like him, especially as a hitman for the cartel, you're telling me they're not going to be able to try to find him,
right?
You know, and kill him before he gets rid of anything. Before he
gives away too much.
Information. Yeah. And look him up. El Mano Negra.
Mano Negra.
What was his name?
Jose Manuel
Martinez, I think.
I think so, something like that. We just looked up his name.
Jose La Mano Negra Martinez.
Yeah, Jose Manuel Martinez, right?
Yeah.
Jesus
he committed murders through Tulare County, Kern County, what is it? Kings County? Kings County. Yeah. Kings County.
Uh-huh.
Through all these
Fresno County.
Yeah. Through all these just small little communities that and I think that just goes to show that the cartel has a big
footprint here.
Big footprint here that nobody fucking
people really underestimate.
Bats an eye at.
People really underestimate the population of cartel here in the Central Valley.
Yeah.
And the stronghold they have on this community.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty and that's something that even I don't even want to talk too much about.
That's another thing too. Because we hear whispers, we hear stories, and it's just, I mean, it's up to you whether or not you want to believe them,
you want to believe it, or
you want to ignore it. It's up to you, really, because I mean that shit's bigger than us.
Yeah.
That cartel shit's way bigger than us.
Yeah. You don't hear too much about it because there's a certain fear, a certain stigma that comes around with, like, I'm talking about something that's really, really forbidden, that I'm afraid of.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. I think that's a good way to end it, man.
Yeah.
I think that story was put a fucking pretty big punctuation mark on this fucking podcast. That was awesome.
Yeah. And I think that's something that, I think next time that I come on, I want to, touch up upon,
go a little bit deeper.
We go not only that, but also stories around the Central Valley. That way people can know where we're from. Also where
that's true too. Yeah.
Also, because I know, a lot of our viewers are some people.
I think a lot of our viewers
know
are like local.
About local and stuff like that, just so they can. And then also just from those people that are just not from California and not from the Central Valley,
so you get a taste.
Just so you can get a taste of kind of what we were from, and not only that, just Californians are just nothing but fucking surfer dudes. Or,
that's what most of the country perceives
like Aaron
as.
Rodgers. Like we're not a bunch of Aaron Rodgers.
We're not just
here
a bunch of fucking
surfing
Cal Berkeley ass dudes.
Cal Berkeley and just being, California dudes and throwing up the fucking,
right.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on here that involves blue collar working, hard working men.
Right.
And I think that's something that next time I come on, I'll touch up on and just let you guys know what's going on around the 559-209 and 809 or 805, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
Couldn't have put it better myself, man. Thanks for coming by.
Let's do it.
All right, man. For those of you guys watching at home or listening at home, thanks you guys for joining us. We'll see you all in the next video. Thanks, everybody.
See you.